Remain, however, in controversy.
As an ex
Every day, millions of people around the world spend hours following someone they've never actually met. They stream songs, buy albums, defend them online, and celebrate their birthdays. Sometimes, they even shape their own lives around them. But here's the question: when does admiration becomes an identity, and when does identity become an obsession?
Feeling lonely isn't unusual, even though we're surrounded by people and constantly connected online. Many still struggle to find a place where they truly belong. For some, fandom became that place. It's not just about the music anymore, it's about finding people who understands you. For millions of BTS fans around the world, becoming part of ARMY means much more than supporting 7 artists. It becomes a community, a support system, somewhere they can finally feel accepted.
Girl, don't know how to act, girl. I'm in deep, tell me where the hell you at, girl. Oh, you ain't even gotta love me back, girl. You know that I'm never holding back, girl. Yeah. So easy to make it so hard. Nights like these, I just wanna get lost. Right here with the moon and the stars. I ain't gotta think about a thing, baby, I just swim, swim. Wanna find all your skin. Swim, swim.
I really need to study. My exam is tomorrow. But if I leave now, everyone will think that I don't care anymore.
Big fan, Rachel, where are you? Stream harder.
At first, joining a fandom was Felicia's own decision. It made her happy, it gave her confidence. But somewhere along the way, that choice slowly stopped feeling like a choice.
Started believe that our identity isn't something we are born with. We build it ourselves through the choices we make. At first, that is exactly what Felicia is doing. She really chose to join the fandom because it brings her happiness, friendship, and also sense of purpose. But eventually, something changes. Instead of making her own decisions, she starts letting everyone else decide things for her. Sartre called this bad faith. It happens when we stop acting according to our own values and living according to someone else's expectations. At this point, she isn't expressing her identity anymore. She is losing it.
And that's what makes fandom so interesting. BTS has inspired millions of people through messages about self-love, mental health, and accepting yourself.
Exactly. Choosing to follow those values can be a meaningful decision. There's nothing wrong with finding comfort in a community.
The problem begins when people feel like they no longer have a choice, when disagreement becomes a betrayal and leaving the conversation feels like losing your identity.
That's when belonging slowly turns into pressure.
Fandom isn't the problem. In fact, it can help people discover who they are. But only if that identity is still built on our own choices. Because the moment someone else starts deciding who you should be, you stop finding yourself, and you slowly begin to losing yourself instead.
Every fandom has passion, but how much passion is too much? Fandom begins with admiration. For most people, it stays that way. It inspires friendship, creativity, and even kindness. But sometimes admiration quietly becomes something else. Both Felicia and Joey love BTS. They stream the same song, watch the same concert, call themselves ARMY. But somewhere along the way, their journey became completely different. One fan found inspiration, the other slowly began building her entire world around people she'd never met.
Joey, have you even slept? You've been here for 3 days, you skip class, you spend all your savings just to follow someone's flights.
You don't get it. Nobody's get it. If something happens to him, who's going to protect him?
He doesn't even know you.
I don't care. He's the reason I wake up every morning. Without BTS, I don't even know who I am anymore.
That sentence changes everything. Supporting an artist isn't wrong, caring isn't wrong, even loving someone's work isn't wrong. So where exactly is the line?
More than 2,000 years ago, Aristotle asked a very similar question. According to Aristotle, living a good life isn't about doing something to the extreme. It's about finding balance, the golden mean. Think about loyalty. Too little loyalty and relationship fall apart. Too much loyalty and we stop questioning whether something is wrong or right. That's what Aristotle called living the golden mean. Felicia still has hobbies, friends, university, family. BTS is part of her life. BTS become her life. When one person becomes the center of your identity, every other part of your life begins to disappear.
Most fans never reach this point, but every year we still hear stories about Sasaeng fans. These fans don't just admire celebrities, they follow them, watch them, sometimes even invade their privacy. Some people call it love, but love respects boundaries. Obsession doesn't. When someone's entire happiness depends on another person, admiration might start looking more like worship.
Virtual ethics doesn't tell us to stop being fans. It reminds us to stay balanced. Friends, concert, drawing, studying, family. A healthy fandom should encourage you to grow as a student, as a friend, and a person, not ask you to give those things up. Because the moment your whole world depends on one person, you have stopped supporting them, you have started worshipping them.
Every fandom has moments of celebration, new albums, world tours, and charity project. But there's one test every fandom eventually face. What happens when the person you defend all this time does something wrong?
Breaking news. A globally known celebrity is facing serious allegations after multiple victims came forward with evidence of unethical behavior. The incident has sparked widespread discussion online, dividing both the public and the celebrity's own fans.
Within minutes, millions of people begin choosing sides. Some demand accountability, others refuse to believe it.
They are lying! Every single one of them. Guys, we need to expose these journalists. Find where she works. Don't let this spread.
Joey, have you actually read what happened?
I don't need to.
But there's evidence.
That's fake.
There's victims.
They just want attention.
But what if they're actually telling the truth?
So, you're choosing them over BTS?
I'm choosing what is right.
This isn't just an argument between two friends anymore. It's a moral dilemma. Should loyalty come first, or should doing the right things always matter more?
More than 200 years ago, the philosopher Immanuel Kant argued that morality should never depend on our emotions. Let me ask you something. Imagine one of your closest friends cheat during a final exam. Would you defend them? Simply because they are your friend? Most of us would probably say no, because deep down, we know that cheating is still wrong no matter who does it. Can't believe the same principle should apply everywhere. His idea was simple. If something is wrong, then it should be wrong for everyone. Not just strangers, not just people we dislike. So, if we wouldn't excuse our friends simply because we care about them, why should celebrity be any different? That's why, protecting someone simply because they are your favorite celebrity isn't morally acceptable. The rule shouldn't change just because our emotions do. Kant also believe every person deserves equal dignity and respect. That includes celebrities, journalists, critics, and most importantly, the people who may have been harmed. Ignoring victims just to protect someone's reputation means treating those people as obstacles instead of human beings.
But why is it so difficult for fans to accept bad news about someone they admire? Part of the answer is something we call the parasocial relationship. Fans spend years watching interviews, concerts, live streams until they begin feeling like they personally know the celebrity, even though they've never actually met. So when that celebrity is criticized, it doesn't feel like a news anymore. It feels personal. And then there's something psychologists call the halo effect.
Because someone seems talented, kind, or inspiring, we start believing they must be also morally good. But talent and character isn't always the same thing. That's why moral judgment becomes so difficult inside fandoms.
It simply reminds us that admiration should never replace accountability. Being a good fan isn't about defending someone no matter what. It's about having a courage to tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, because morality means doing what's right, not just doing what's easy.
What is going
So, after everything we've witnessed, one final question remains. Does fandom ultimately create more happiness or more harm? The same fandom creates two completely different outcomes. One found inspiration, the other lost balance. Throughout this documentary, we've seen fandom changes life in very different ways. We've seen fans raise millions of dollars for charity. We've seen people overcome loneliness, build lifelong friendships, and find communities where they finally feel accepted. But we've also seen harassment, financial pressures, parasocial dependency, and obsession. So, how do we decide whether fandom is ultimately good or harmful?
To answer that question, let's look at another philosopher. Unlike the philosopher we've discussed before, Mill wasn't asking, what kind of person should we become? Or what is our moral duty? Instead, he asked something much more simpler. What creates the greatest good for the greatest number of people? That's the heart of utilitarianism. We don't judge something by its intention, we judge it by its overall consequences. So, what happens when we apply the idea to a fandom? Let's start with the positives.
Power and influence of a popular boy band gives the Black Lives Matter movement a huge boost.
TS for its one.
Fans in attendance. That brings them together. Complete devotion to
BTS fans matched a $1 million donation to the Black Lives Matter movement in less than 24 hours. For many people, fandom becomes more than entertainment. It becomes somewhere they can belong. But utilitarianism asks us to count everything. Online harassment, financial stress, psychological dependence, blind loyalty, these aren't isolated incidents. They're real consequences, experienced by real people, which means fandom has the power to create incredible good and harm. So, what's the conclusion? Utilitarianism doesn't tell us that fandom is good. It also doesn't tell us that fandom is bad. It tells us something much more important. Fandom becomes ethical only when we actively reduce its harm while protecting everything that makes it meaningful. In other words, the community itself has a responsibility to keep itself healthy.
When we started this documentary, we asked one simple question. Can fandom truly give people purpose, or does it eventually become a modern-day worship?
Existentialism reminds us that fandom can help people discover who they are, but only if that identity is built on free choice.
Virtue ethics taught us that admiration isn't dangerous. Losing balance is.
Deontology reminds us that reality should never change morality.
And utilitarianism showed us that fandom creates positive things, but only when communities are willing to confront their own harmful behavior.
Maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. The real question isn't, is fandom good or bad? It's, what kind of fan do you choose to be?
Because fandom isn't defined by celebrities, it is defined by the people who build it.
At its best, fandom reminds us that we're never alone.
At worst, it asks us to forget ourselves. The difference has always been